Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Okay, this was a totally unplanned purchase, and just like my last one that I got from Lidl's, I did begin that video with do I really need this item? And the answer was no. I will find more use for that one than I will for this. I'm really glad I got that because I will be using that. This one was, like I said, total on the spur purchase that I will use, but not that often. Now what it is a mini chainsaw. Now I have no trees whatsoever in my garden. Next door, Les, my neighbour of a couple of years, he last year borrowed, or earlier this year, my sabre saw to get rid of a bit of an old stump of a tree that was in his garden. Now this would have been absolutely ideal for that. Obviously it isn't just for cutting trees. You can use it anything you like. As I'll be demoing on, I've got some sort of like 2x2 some old pallets. I'll show you on that, but I haven't got any trees, so I've tried to arrange with my daughter who's got some trees to bring some fallen branches around, or some thick branches, just to try it on. So I will be trying that. Now the main reason I got it was the price. I go on a website every day. I look at a website, don't know whether you've ever heard of it, called Hot UK Deals. It's a great website, and it's just as its name suggests. It's hot deals in the UK, and these are posted by users of the site who notice a bargain online somewhere, be it eBay, Amazon, or anywhere. Hot UK Deals won't allow you to post to certain sites, a lot of like Chinese sites and things. So if you do try and put a post on, they sometimes deny it. I don't post that often many deals now. I used to post quite a lot, but there are quite a lot of trolls on it, and no matter what you put up, there's always some diffractors saying, oh, they're rubbish these, or you can get it cheaper elsewhere, or whatever. But some people just like arguing, it seems. So I don't post many deals now, but I do always look. And yesterday I was just looking through and I saw this mini chainsaw, and I've often fancied one of these just because I like my gadgets and just to see how they'll do. But the main reason I got this was it's an absolute bargain at the price. I normally do the unboxing first and then you show you some things on Amazon, some compares and that. But we'll go straight to Amazon now and you'll see how much I got it for. It's gone up just the next day. It's almost doubled already. But there are alternatives. So if we just have a look at Amazon now, how much I paid for it and what some of the alternatives around about that price is. It's often worth looking out for things like that. They have one-day deals, and there was already a reduction on this, and then another 30% off that they knocked off at checkout. So yeah, we'll have a look at it now. So here you can see the one I got, this mini chainsaw. Now if you look, it was $55.47, but then they had a 30% off at checkout deal, which, if you look up here in the corner, 55 quid minus 16.64, and that brought it down to 38 quid, which, as you see, is a bargain price. If we click on it now, you can see it's shot up overnight to £70.80p. One left in stock. There's no offer on it now. There was a little box here right at the top. Even I missed it at first. And it was like, click on this thing, prime only offer will be reduced at checkout. You clicked on your add to basket, and then it applied the discount then. And as you saw, I got it for 38 quid. Now, there are many others. Here are some others. There's a video there of sort of what they can do. And they're all basically looking the same with a massive price difference. That one there is 110 quid down here. Yeah, this one here. So there's a 4-inch one and a 6-inch one. If we click on the 6-inch one with 2 batteries, and they're 21 volts the same. These are 1.5 amps. I'm not sure what the ones in the one I've just bought are. We'll be having a look at that soon, but There you get gloves, glasses and charger and so on. Doesn't look quite as sort of nice quality as this one I've just bought, but I'll bet basically they're all pretty much the same. But like I said, that's the 6-inch one. It's 38 quid, which is just what I paid for mine. But again, if we go back and look at the one I've got down here, it's a brushless motor, which is very, very welcome. I mean, you don't get brushless motors on really cheap stuff most of the time. Most of the Lidl's Parkside stuff I review, which I really like, is brushed motors, not brushless. That's only in their like sort of higher range, but this one is 850 watt brushless, and again it gets really good reviews, you know, 5-star reviews, 76%, and generally some of the things people say of it is the charging time 2 hours, working time in 50 minutes, brushless motor. It says good customer service. I'm assuming they have a UK thing, but yeah, it seems good quality, exceeded expectations. This lady's 80 years old and 5 foot tall, weighs 50 kilograms, and she uses it. Yeah, pretty unanimous good reviews. So that's the one I got. Like I say, up to 70 now, but 38 quid. So let's have a look what's in the box. This bit, hoping I won't need, but it's actually advertising excellent customer service. Whether that is right or not, whether it's a UK agent or not, I don't know, but let's have a look inside. Oh, a bit more info there if you want to see it. Made in China, obviously. So that's the case it's in. Like I said, this is a live unboxing, just because I know some like it. Once I've done this, I'm going to give it a thorough read of the book, if there is a book in it, and a thorough play with and check it out, and whoops, and then I'll go through it bit by bit. So I've just literally opened the lid and that fell out. So it's a 6-inch saw chain. Again, I'm not even going to gloss through this much here. I'll give it a read and then tell you how good it is, if it's in other languages or if it's the usual Chinese to English translation. Gloves, tiny bit thicker than a rubber glove, but not going to give much protection against a chainsaw bit in, but quite nice. Quite sort of a fabric-y there, and will make it easier to grip, I suppose, if it was wet. So, a pair of them. The saw itself. A bag. You can usually tell how good they are by the quality of the mouldings, and it looks quite good. You can tell feels quite nice. Like I said, I don't know what any of these knobs are for. I shall go through all of them once I've tried it out. Get a little pair of glasses. They really are bad. Let's have a clean of them. Yeah, absolutely sort of terrible them. They'll go over thing, but really blurry. Not just blurry because of my eyes, but I mean, things are crystal clear now. With them on, it's all sort of blurry and yeah, very, very sort of poor quality of them. So they'll be straight in the bin then. Screwdriver. Yeah, just your normal cheap screwdriver. and your 2 battery packs. And as with all these things, yes, if you look at a lot of reviews, Project Farm, obviously probably one of the most famous ones, who regularly tests cheap lithium-ion batteries compared to genuine Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita ones that use quality cells from Panasonic and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't last anything like as long as a normal one would. 2 amps, that cheap blue one I showed you said 1.5 amps. Again, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. It doesn't always work out that way. It might say 2 amp, it might be only 1. But for what I'll be using it for, which is very rarely, if ever, that'll be fine. And you do get 2. That's your charger. It's not, it'd be nice like a push-in battery that pushes into the charger, but it's not. You just charge them with that plug in there like that. There's a light on it, I assume, sort of like red when it's charging, green when it's charged. Again, I'll tell you what that is when I've thoroughly tried it. And that's it for the case. 1 chain is on it, obviously. Well, that's your spare chain, so I won't open that just yet. But like I say, what these knobs are for, I've never ever used a chainsaw in my life. I tell a lie, my dad did have a really good one, a Stihl, S-T-I-H-L electric one, which was really, really good. I sold that when my dad died because I had no use for it. But that was a really top quality one, but much bigger than this. But yeah, so little guard there, and yeah, so that's your oil tank. You don't get any oil with it. I'll be going through the oil you should use and that. I've been reading up on it. I've got loads of normal engine oil in the garage. Unused. I wouldn't use used engine oil like a lot of people do. But again, we'll go through it all that a bit later. So I'm going to give it a good thorough try out for the next couple of days. Okay, so a quick edit here, and it's now 1 week later. I've got the same top on for continuity, but I've had a good play with it, good read up of everything, and yesterday I tried it cutting some different types of wood. Now, as I mentioned, I have no trees in my garden, so what I did, I asked my next door neighbour Dave, who was saying that there was a tree in his girlfriend's garden around the corner that needed chopping down. So I lent it him and asked him to chop the not the tree, the branch off and bring it with him to my house. So what I've done, I've filmed it cutting the typical thing that you would be using these for, a tree branch, and it's about that sort of diameter. Now this machine, it shows you on the video on Amazon, cutting a 6-inch log, and I don't doubt it after this test. As you'll see, it just ate through this branch that I would say was about 3 inches diameter. No idea what sort of wood it was. If there's any plant or tree experts in there who can have a look at the leaves when it's in the bench and tell me what sort of tree it was, that'd be great. Put it in the comments. But so I've tried it on that branch. That's the biggest one I could get, and some 3x2 timber that I had at the back of the shed for ages. I also, as you'll see, start this video with it cutting a piece of pallet, sort of like a 1/2 inch, 1 inch thick piece of pallet. When I say it cutting, I've compared it to my sabre saw, the Parkside sabre saw, and just to show which one is quickest. Now, like I said, I started on this piece of pallet, but I haven't bothered cutting that with the chainsaw. So the very beginning of this bit is a bit irrelevant because I don't actually duplicate the cutting of the pallet with the chainsaw. But I think it's quite sufficient just cutting 3x2 and a tree branch. So let's have a look at that now, and then as soon as we've seen these demos, I'll come out and I'll go through the saw, showing you how to take the chain off, what the oiling does, how to fill the little oil tank, and go through the good points and the bad points. So let's have a look at that outside cutting that I did yesterday now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through some different types of wood. I've got a bit of a pallet here, about half an inch thick. I've got some 3x2 or 3x3 whatever over there, and a branch over there. I've asked my neighbour to, he wanted to cut down a branch in his garden, so that's what I'll be doing the demo on, because I don't own any branches. So first of all, I'm going to use the sabre saw, Lidl's Parkside sabre saw. If you haven't seen my review on that, have a look at the card above. But I'm going to spray this first with a bit of WD. There's the little oil button on here that you press. See it there. Press that and that squirts some oil out. I'll show you later on after the demos. I'll show you that close up and how you fill it with oil. But to make sure it's all round, I'm going to put some WD on, and the battery is fully charged. It's absolutely full. So we'll try and see if we can run it down and do quite a few cuts. So first of all, let's put that down there. We'll use the sabre saw on this and we'll count how many seconds. So if it's going to take a long time, like on the branch or on the 3x2, I'll speed the video up, but I will put the time it takes to cut on each blade, this one and the chainsaw, just to compare the two. So this is a sabre saw, and as you can see, brand spanking new blade. So there we go. As you can see, whips through this piece of pallet pretty easy. So we'll do all the sabre saw one first. So I'll just put this bit of a more substantial piece of wood in the vise. Yeah, 3" by 2" this, so let's see how long this takes. So just do one more. That's the 3x2, and this is the sort of thing that you'd probably be most likely to use this little chainsaw at. So we'll see how quick this gets through it. Okay, we'll just do the one through that, because as you can see it took a lot longer. So like I say, I'll put a timer on the screen how long it took. Right, that's about the 3 different woods now, so we'll try this. And we'll try it on this one first. So much harder, that one. Cutting through the log with the sabre saw. Not as much wood as the 3x2, but much harder wood to get through. So let's see now on this how quick this gets through it. So as play a heck of a lot quicker. We'll do one more. Absolutely whizzes through that. So we'll just try it on the others. Let's have a look at the quality of the cut as well. So that was with the sabre saw. Very, very nice sort of fine cut. And with this, much rougher, as you can see. I'll cut one more just to be short. So still pretty smooth, but not as smooth as the sabre saw. Even that was with the chainsaw, so actually smoother than I thought it'd be. I'm going to chop that into tiny bits later to see how long the battery lasts. Do it on the 3B2. So that's the side we just cut through with the sabre saw. I'm just going to mark that. Right, so I'm just going to put an S this side for where the sabre saw cut through, and I'll put a C this side for the chainsaw. I'll show you the cuts closer up later. I think on that probably about the same amount of time, but just feeling that it is smoother, but not much smoother. You can see around here where the chainsaw went through, more sort of fraying than round there. So I'm going to put the branch back in now and get it cut into many little bits. So we'll cut this into little tiny bits now. Okay, so like I said, battery is still pretty good. Let's just see how many more cuts it'll do. Right, so got the 3B2 in again now. I'm just seeing if I'm going to cut this into about 10 pieces. If the battery's still going after that, that's great. So after quite a bit of cutting, I'll show you shortly on the floor how much I've cut. I've got about a foot left of this 3B2, and did feel it on that last cut, sort of beginning to struggle a bit, and the belt is definitely loose now. You can see there it's loose, so it's ready for a tighten up. So we just loosen that one off there and just screw that screw in there. You might find it's got a lot of sawdust around it, and then you just pull this blade here till there's about 3 of them middle bits showing a tiny bit more. Okay, that tension feels about right now. Tighten that back down. That blade is just So we're still on the same battery now. Complete this cut. I'll give it another spray. Give it 2 more cuts now, it should do us. And final one. Okay, the battery barely warm, the motor barely warm. So yeah, that's all the cutting done now. We've cut it all into little bits, that big length of 3x2 and that branch. It's all on the floor now. Here it is, here's a close-up of it on the floor. And as you can see, there's, you know, loads and loads of bits of branches. That biggish branch cut into tiny little bits. So yeah, I'm really quite impressed actually. So I'm going to run this now on just hear him out and time how long it takes before it cuts out. Obviously it'll be under no load, but I've run out of wood to cut through anyway, so that'll just tell me how far discharged this battery is. But like I said, there is still power in there at the moment, so I'll do that and then I'll catch you in the shed very, very soon. So as you saw there, yeah, quite effective. The battery seemed to last a while. I'm going to go into the battery in detail and the charging and that of it in a second. But yeah, it seemed to have plenty of power just on the one battery, and don't forget you get 2. There are some stupid things on it, there are some good things on it, but for its purpose and its price, particularly its price, I think it's good value. So let's go through it more in detail now. So clean it up as I can, but obviously it's going to get dirty, as it did yesterday. You can see around there. Now, I said I'd go through the book and tell you if there's any silly Chinese to English mistakes and that. There's a couple of them, not much. It's quite glossy, but it doesn't really tell you much, actually. The one thing that did sort of half tickle me and half annoyed me is this. Look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. This bit here, that little, again, I'll show you actually on the drill in a minute. Where is it? Decorative effect only. So there's a little lever, a little sort of dial on it, and it does absolutely nothing. That's this. It moves. It's like a dial look. Some sort of adjustment thing, I thought. But it has no effect. It's for decoration only. Well, how absolutely stupid is that? Why put something like that on for decoration only? Just to confuse people. But anyway, so obviously battery goes in there, squeeze the trigger to do it, push the button, squeeze the trigger. To take the chain off, what you do is you undo that nut there, take it off. There is normally a little washer on there. I've dropped mine on the floor, cannot find it, so I'll be putting a new one up there soon. This then comes off, this cover, and there's that little tab there, that little tab, that goes in a slot, this slot here at the back, when you're putting it back. And I don't know whether you can see, but again, that knob I just showed you there, if you look the other side, it just does nothing. It's just a knob. I'm turning it now with my finger. In. You can probably see it turning. In that shroud. And there's only one screw in it anyway. So, ridiculous. Cheap construction. Once that is off, you can then just pull this bar, I think they call it, and the chain off. Now, I was always curious. I'd never seen a chainsaw in bits before, how they worked. And this bit here, this bar, has got like a groove down the middle of it. You can see it there. And these bits of the chain, these underneath bits, go in that groove. And it's obviously turned there, and that's what sends it round. Now, when you're putting the chain on, make sure you get it, obviously it comes with it in place, but you get a spare chain. If you need to replace it, make sure you get it. It's a little picture here, and it tells you in the book as well, the chain the right way around. That's the direction of travel there, and it's on both sides of the blade, of the bar. And the cutting bit of the chain is that bit there, the higher bit. That is like a little chisel bit. So as that goes forward like that, that is what does the cutting. So, like I say, where my finger is there, make sure you can see it on there as it moves in that direction. That corresponds to that. You can see I'm going now in the direction of the arrow, and that bit of the chain is going forward. That's the cutting blade there. So it's pretty easy when you get it in your hand. So that's that. And the adjustment screw is that silver thing there. So when you get it on, you tighten this up, and that drags this locating stud along to tension the belt. So what you're best doing when you're putting it on is, and this is the screwdriver you get with it, just a standard Phillips screwdriver, slacken that off a bit, which looks like moves this stud along the thread. And it's easier to do this on the bench than trying to hold it up to the camera, so I'm just hooking it round the drive wheel there. And it can be a bit fiddly. I can't actually show you because I'm doing it backwards way around, holding it up to the camera. It's a bit hard. It's much easier doing it on the bench. But what you do, once you've got a screw slackened off, you like loop, if you can see, loop the chain around the drive cog at the back. And then this just goes over. You can see it going in the bottom pin there. And it just sits down like that. And as you can see at the moment, it's pretty slack because we gave it that slack on the screw to put it on this wheel. So then, like I say, it just goes over that plastic, that metal pin there, the adjustable pin, and make sure it's round the drive shaft. As you can see, it's dead slack at the moment because we've got the slack in it. Okay, so I thought I'd just insert this bit here because I forgot to point this out during the bit of filming you've just been watching, which I did earlier today. But that is the metal pin. I've just pointed out the one on the screw that moves this blade, this bar, sorry, I keep calling it a blade, this bar in and out to tension the blade. And what I didn't point out was behind there is this thing here, which is a little magnet. It's one of them really powerful neodymium magnets, which is fitted flush with the plastic, the purpose of which, when that is over the metal pin, like that, it holds the blade flat, so you can now put the screwdriver this side in the adjustment screw. That drags this pin up and down to tension it and to make the blade slack, but the blade is held in place by that magnet, and it's quite a powerful little magnet. You can probably hear it. You can see it. It's powerful enough to hold it back. Won't hold the weight of the thing fully horizontally, but it keeps it in place so it doesn't slip out. So that's why it can move in and out on that one pin. It is held by that magnet behind there. Okay, back to the previous filming now. Once that is on, we then just put this on, and again that tab goes in that slot there, and tighten that down. As you tighten that and it pushes this down, that's what grips this bar. So make sure there's no sideways movement of that bar, and then you know it's gripped tight. And like I say, you can see the chain is very slack at the moment. So just put your screwdriver in there and screw that in, and it's at its correct tension. So when you're screwing it in, make sure it's staying in the groove. If that feels tight, just slacken this off slightly while you're adjusting it. Then you just screw that in until, like I said, tighten that up to check it, until you can just pull the chain down and see 3 of the little bits above that go in. Now at the moment I can't, that is too tight. It's like adjusting the chain on a bike. You don't want it really tight, but you don't want it flopping around. So I'm going to just relieve a bit of tension on that. You only need to do this, obviously take the bar off when you're replacing the chain. As you saw before when I was cutting it, it did come loose, so you do have to tighten it up, but you don't have to take that side panel off or anything. So I've got a bit more slack in it now, and I can just, can you see sort of like 3 of them are showing, so that feels about right to me. Maybe a bit tighter. It's worth persevering though and getting this right. Yeah, that feels right now. So that's that. Now the oil, there is a little oil tank, and again on the instructions, this amused me. It's a little button, little sort of like plastic button you press, you'll see in a second, to squirt a bit of oil. And if you look there, fuel injection. You know, fuel injection, no it's not, it's oil. It squirts a bit of oil. And the oil tank, you take that off, that side, and it's just there. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm just using straightforward engine oil. I've tons and tons of it in the shed, ranging from, getting quite oily now, ranging from really good stuff I use, my Scorpion and Magnatech and stuff, to just normal cheap engine oil. I'm just going to use cheap engine oil. You can get special chainsaw oil, which I believe is a bit stickier than that. And if I was a professional using a professional chainsaw, using it every day, yeah, I'd probably use that. Looked at tons online, loads of people, and again, professionals who use it every day use old engine oil. I'm not tempted to use that because it's got metal bits in it, but I've certainly tons of normal bog standard oil. So I just got my oil can squirted a bit in that tank. And when that tank's full, that's your fuel injection button. And as you push that, it's like a plastic membrane. It squirts a bit of oil out the top. I won't take it off again, but behind this side panel again, there's a little hole corresponding to the top of the chain. And as you push that, it squirts a bit of oil out. It's not brilliant. It's not a great way of oiling it. As you move it around, it does sort of come out of here a bit. Also, I don't know whether you can see there in the case, see there's some oil there, and at the top here. So I've decided I'm not going to. I'm probably going to pour, as soon as I've done this video, pour the bit of oil that's left in there out of it, and I'm just going to rely on external oiling. I've just had to go in the house and wash my hands anyway because I've got covered in oil just doing that bit. So that was it. So that's taking the chain off, tension in it. Obviously you've got your guard here, so as you're cutting through, that gets the top of the log or whatever. Can't pull the trigger till you've pressed the safety button in. And your batteries. Now the batteries are worth pointing out. As I mentioned before, you see so many reviews on tests against good quality drill batteries like Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita and stuff, which use premium cells from Panasonic and Sony, to the cheap ones like this, which are just sort of like cheapo cells, nothing like the claimed capacity usually. I don't know whether they're claimed 2 amp or not. I did do some tests and I tried charging it on my pretty good Sky RC charger that I use for me radio control model battery packs. Obviously these have got balance boards on. This battery hasn't got anything like that, so I just had to connect it using sort of 2 washers in here to this, and from when it had gone dud, this managed to put back in 1100 milliamps, 1.1 amps. So I was expecting when this goes down to its cut-off stage where the drill cuts out, I was expecting maybe to get like 1.8 amps back in it or something, but no, there's only 1100. But so I don't know what the true capacity of that is. And also, as you'll see on the battery, we have 3 slots. And you got your negative and your positive, pos and neg, whichever. And you got this 3rd slot here. Now a lot of batteries have that. Some have multiple slots, 4 or 5 or whatever. That would indicate that there's some sort of temperature sensor in here, but obviously that would only be when it's on a charger with 3 male pins to correspond to that for it to clip into. This isn't. That's the charger you get with it. A really cheapo, and that is light as a feather. You know, it sounds like there's nothing in it. And the figures on it are 21 volts, 2 amps. But it's just on a normal barrel connector. And that plugs in there. So you've only got 2 pins basically. So there's no thermal protection when charging or anything like that. So just a bog standard basic battery. Now this does cut out the battery when it's fully charged. While it's charging, this charger is warm, again only warm, and the red light is on. When it's fully charged, the light goes green, the charger goes cold. So it has charged it and stopped charging. So there will be the basic of basics battery management board in there to stop it overcharging. Also, when I was testing it, after I did them tests in the video, I ran it for about 4 minutes and it was still going, not under load, it was still going 4 minutes. I had noticed a slight decrease in RPM. So then I went round about and tried cutting a bit of the pallet and it cut out straight away. It cuts off. So yeah, when it gets down to a certain voltage, it cuts off. So there is that cut off, and I measured that. I connected it to a voltmeter and it's cutting off at 16.4 volts. So that's quite good, because if there's going to be 5 cells in here, so 16.4 cut-off voltage divided by 5 for the 5 cells that are in here means it's cutting off when the cells are down to 3.2 volts, which is okay. It's when they drop below 3 volts that these cells don't like it. If you didn't have a battery management circuit on it to do that sort of stuff in the drill and on the charger and that, it would just run these absolutely flat still it started going. Once you get below 3 volts, they do not like it and you have trouble restarting it. You plug your charger in and it'll show a fault, it won't charge, and you've sometimes got to like jerk it into. I had a couple of old Amazon Kindle ebooks, and the battery is just totally gone, and I managed to spring one back into life by pulse charging it until it got some charge in it. Then it was okay. But yeah, so they have got a very, very basic form of battery management in there. So, but I would never ever charge them overnight, never charge them unattended. I never charge any of my rechargeable batteries unattended other than my phone, which I would imagine most people leave plugged in overnight or whatever sometimes, but that's the only rechargeable thing in my house, even with good quality lithium polymers, lithium ions, and I never leave them unattended, me drill batteries or anything. But it's curious, it's a 2 amp battery and a 2 amp charger, so you would think it would charge up in 1 hour. Doesn't. It takes 2 hours, as it says in the book. About 1 hour and 3/4 I timed it. As soon as I'd finished yesterday, like I said, cutting all that wood and running the battery flat, I plugged it in. It was about 1 hour 45 minutes before the green light come on showing a full charge. So they're not fast charged. There's no ramping up and then slowing down at the top or anything like that. It's just a slow charge in there all the time at more like 1 amp, I would imagine. So that's the batteries. But having said that, it did last a long time. You saw all that wood it cut, and it still ran sort of 4 minutes off load and then sort of started cutting out. So I would think for the little bits you're going to use around the garden, 2 batteries will be ample. Now, one thing in the advert that attracted me to this particular one, and as you know there are hundreds and hundreds of them, it says on it, excellent customer service. We are confident in our product quality. If there is any problems or concern about the product, please feel free to contact us. We will always be here to help you. So I went on their website. I thought it was cow at first, but it's CQWLKEG. I mean, is that the worst word you've ever seen? Sequulkedge. Not sure how you pronounce it, but I went on their website. There is absolutely no contact details at all. There's about 4 pages of products, no contact button, no email, no phone number. Same on the Amazon advert. It's just sold through Amazon, no contact details, nothing in the book whatsoever. So this fantastic customer service, how do you get in touch with them? Well, on the back here is, see here, first of all we've got the manufacturer. Here we've got e-commerce, German address there, and an email address there, EC rep, and here the UK reps are Evertost Consulting Limited, an address in Cardiff, Wales. Contact there. So I sent these a email, this contact at evtmaster.com, asking if I can get spare batteries for it. And I've just had, this was about a week ago I sent that, just had a reply today, about a week later, saying, I'm expecting it to be from this company in Wales, the UK reps, but no, it was just a generic sort of like Amazon. We are the, let me read it to you. Dear Sir, Madam, as the authorised representative of Amazon sellers in Europe, we serve many sellers of e-commerce platforms, just such as Amazon. We hope to solve any shopping problems you have. Please provide the following information: your country, the product website, the ASIN reference, the order date, the order number, and a product picture if you received. So I've sent them all that back, because the email I sent them was just, can you get spare batteries and how much are they? And I was hoping for a reply from this Welsh company with a link to them, but now they want all that information. So I did find some batteries online which are compatible. I'll just quickly show you. There are loads. You can see them here, 21 volts, and you can see they're the same slot patterns. So that's what to look out for, the one with the 3 slots when you're picking one. That's the charger, again the same. But if you look at the price of them, you'll probably find some cheaper. But the price of them all, okay, it's got some green lights on the front, this one as well. But one of the cheapest there, that, and there's a 3 amp one there for 20. But 18.19, so 18 quid. So for 2 of them, oh, it looks like you get a charger as well. For 2 of them, 36 quid. So that's the price of the entire saw, with the 2 batteries, the charger, the 2 chains, and everything really. So if these ever go, I'm going to open these up and source some quality cells and spot weld a pack together myself, or solder or whatever. So like I say, I'm not confident on these having an exceptionally long life and that, but like I say, they do have a cutout, and when you're charging them, it does cut out. So very basic safety on them. So would I recommend one? Well, what I'd recommend is, in fact, the link I'm going to give, I've just checked, and this particular one doesn't sort of seem available now. This company, I've got loads and different ones with different trigger guards and things, but that particular one doesn't seem, there's no price coming up on it. So like I say, I would recommend one at the price I paid, 38 quid, something like that. That was good value. But there are equal good value ones all over Amazon and eBay. Some even better by the look of it. Some come with a 6-inch blade, I've seen, and an 8-inch blade, and you get both, and the 2 battery packs for about the same price. I'm pretty convinced 90% of them are all churned out by the same factory in China, with just a few different trigger guards, different colours, but basically inside they're all just the basic thing. So what I would do is trawl Amazon or eBay or whatever, looking for the best value that you find. If it claims to have 3 amp batteries or whatever, take them with a pinch of salt, but go for it if it's the same price as the one with the 2 amp batteries. If you get 2 different size blades, all the better. Have a look at the reviews. This particular one did get loads of good reviews, but again, most of the other ones I've looked at have been the same. So for a cheap little tool, they are amazingly effective. And yes, I will thoroughly recommend one if you have got a few tree branches you want cutting down. That's what I thought I'd only sort of use it for. But no, having used it now, if I want to just slice a piece of wood really, really quick, and I'm not bothered about the finish, just cutting like up a pallet or cutting something up to throw away in little pieces, absolutely ideal for that. They're not going to give a precision cut like a saber saw will, or a hand saw, but for what I've demonstrated, absolutely fantastic. And also because the blade is going continuously round, it gets even wear on the whole blade. On the saber saw or any reciprocating saw like that, you tend to use the one bit of the blade, the bit back near the guard. So the tip of the blade, as it's moving in and out, hardly gets used. Because to use that, you'd have to have a really thick piece of wood or be using it on the tip and it'd flex about. So as with most things like that, the blades, the teeth at the very end are usually still pretty sharp while the rest are done. A chainsaw, it's a continuous blade like a bandsaw, so it gets even wear throughout the whole thing. And even now, them blades are pretty sharp. I mean, that is, obviously can't demonstrate it to you, but that is, you know, if you cut yourself on that, you'd know about it. And that's after cutting all that wood, and you get the spare chain. And again, chains readily available. Again here, 5 pieces, mini chainsaw chain, 6-inch, 5 chains for £10.56. There's one there, one chain for 10 quid. So yeah, chains cheap enough. Again, I dare say, going for that 5 pieces for the 10 quid, they might not be as quality as a 1 piece for 10 quid. I don't know. All I can say is this, for such a cheap machine, I think it's lasted well. I've bought some cheap hacksaw blades in my time. One cut, and one even cutting copper pipe, all the teeth came off. Absolute rubbish, but seems reasonable quality. So the good points are, it is plenty powerful enough. 850 watts it claims, 1.2 horsepower, whether that's right or not, I don't know. But yeah, plenty powerful enough to cut through what I showed. Like I said, I've not tried it on, I've no access to a 6-inch tree trunk or whatever, so I can't show you that. But I believe it could do it, you know, on a fully charged battery, it could do it. And yeah, well impressed with the power. Quality, okay, the sort of thing you get for this sort of price. Charging facilities, would have liked a proper charger that you plug that onto, maybe some lights on the battery, but again, you get what you pay for, and it does the job. So yeah, that's the great. Just got oil on my hands again now because that was in the case. That was the spare saw chain you get with it. Oil wise, like I say, my recommendation would be don't use that tank because it leaks out in the box. The box, just again a generic box, it's not made to fit. There's no proper receptacle to hold the batteries tight like there is in a Parkside box that is made for that tool. They just basically go in a gap and flop around in there. So like I say, my recommendation would be to spend a good hour or so going through many, literally hundreds and hundreds of different makes on Amazon and eBay. Read some reviews and just go for the best price. The one that claims to have the most powerful motor and a brushless motor, and the higher amperage the battery. If you can get it for the same price, the bonus, but take it with a pinch of salt. A 3 amp may not be 3 amp, may not even be 2 amp, but all you can do is trust them and, like I say, read the reviews. But all in all, for such a cheap little machine, quite impressed with how it works. So yes, I would recommend one. So hopefully it's been of some use. I'll put any links below. It'll take you to the one that I got, but like I said, no price is coming up on it, so just go from there. But all my links are Amazon affiliate links, so if you do click on that link, whatever you buy from that browsing session, whatever it may be, I do get a small commission on it, which keeps the channel going. So hopefully you can do that if you are going to buy one. If you have liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the little picture of the shed here, and then click the bell icon below, and you'll be alerted to any new uploads I've got. So, like I say, hopefully it's been of some use. Don't know what the next review is going to be on. Like I said, this was out of the blue. It was just a spur of the moment decision to buy this. So maybe the next one will be the same, or something from Lidl's, more likely. So hope to catch you for that. Thanks for watching this one. Bye for now.